Players and coaches of the Southland Conference gathered today at L'Auberge du Lac in Lake Charles for the conference's Media Day. McNeese players Miguel, Gauthreaux, and Desmund Lighten and head coach Matt Viator shared their outlook on the upcoming season and how stiff the competition will be, since McNeese is ranked #1 in the conference in the preseason coaches poll.
I'm Rachel Whitaker at Southland Conference Media Day, here with McNeese offensive tackle Miguel Gauthreaux. And Miguel, congratulations on your preseason All Southland Conference honor.
Appreciate it.
If you could just talk about, I've been hearing that there's a lot of parity in the Southland Conference going into the 2011 season. What's your take on that?
Well, we've got a lot of guys that a lot of teams that have came through and been really equal as far as the competition from head to toe is good. You know, we're at the top, but the guys on the bottom are just as good. You know, so we've got a lot of good teams and a tough slate for our conference schedule. So.
And you guys, with Cody Stroud coming back at quarterback, how do you think he'll be able to lead y'all as an offense?
Well, Cody's done really well this spring, and we're excited about him coming back. And he started some games for us last year against LSU and played in some other games such as Missouri, and he started the SFA game, and he's done really well for us, so we're excited about him coming back.
And in terms of the conference, you guys are ranked #1 in the preseason poll, and Stephen F. Austin right behind y'all.
Mm-hmm.
As the two front runners, how do you think y'all's teams match up right at the top?
Well, just like the past 2 years, we've slugged it out. They've beat us the past couple of years, but it's been really close. You know, this past year we had them beat, and the Peyton Award winner, Moses, he came back and threw some really good passes and had a good drive against us and won the game. And the year before that, we had a chance to win against them also. It was really close at Nacogdoches. So, you know, we're really equal as far as talent-wise, and you know, we feel like we've got a good team this year, and they've obviously, we said, a lot of starters coming back, and same coaching staff, so we know it's going to be a dogfight again when we go up there.
And you guys as a whole, defensive tackle Desmund Lighten and running back Andre Anderson also garnering preseason All Southland Conference honors.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of y'all's biggest weapons, you think?
I think we have a huge stable of running backs. We've got a defensive backfield that's very talented with Malcolm Bronson back there, and a defensive line that's young but has good leadership in Des Lighten, and a linebacking core that's tough and hard-nosed guys. So, you know, and obviously the offensive line is going to be a big part of our offense. So, I mean, it always is, but we've got a bunch of good guys returning, so we're really excited about that.
Hi again, Rachel Whitaker here at Southland Conference Media Day, this time with McNeese defensive tackle Desmund Lighten. Congratulations on your preseason All Southland Conference honor. And if you could just talk about your defense around you this season.
Oh, well, we got the whole secondary coming back, so, you know, we've came together in '07. We've been together, we've been staying in dorms together, so we're pretty tight-knit when it comes to that. Defensive line, we got a bunch of cats that got a lot of field experience. They didn't start, but, you know, they got a lot of game players, so now that's on their shoulders. You know, they're going to be in from the first snap. You know, those butterflies got to get out your stomach real quick, which is good, though. It's a lot easier to start because you get to hit somebody in the mouth first play. You don't got to sit on the sideline and watch somebody else do it. A lot of people don't realize that.
And with you and Stephen F. Austin, the #1 and #2 in the Southland Conference preseason poll, if you could just talk about the rest of the conference. I've been hearing that there's a lot of parity in the conference this year, with it really up for grabs. Do you agree with that?
Well, yeah, you know, that's not really any gimmies in this conference. You can't take a week off at all because everybody, especially when you're at the top of the list, everybody's going to give you their best game. So we go to work every day knowing that everybody else is working to beat you, so you need to work to beat them.
High expectations are obviously come with the territory when you're at McNeese. Just talk about, again, being picked as one of the teams to beat here this year.
Well, I mean, we're excited about it. You know, I thought Stephen F. was the overwhelming choice, in my opinion, at least, because of the number of players they have back and because of the fact they've won the last 2 years. But I think our players understand it. Our coaches certainly understand it, that you know, the expectations are very high each year, and other than that, the polls don't mean anything. So, you know, you got to go out and go to work and, you know, do things the right way. But I think it's just pretty much indicative of what we go through every year.
And again, I guess 5 total teams have got a first place vote in both polls.
Yeah.
And you were talking about last year, you had to eke out wins against the teams that are picked last, and you barely lost to the teams that are picked at the top with you. Just talk about the balance.
Yeah, that's the first time I'd actually seen it, and because like I said, I really don't. I don't even know when it's put out, to be honest with you. But I was just noticing that Stephen F. and Central Arkansas are 2 games that you know, we certainly had opportunities to win. You know, we lost in the last minute of the games. Once, you know, we had the ball. Once we were on defense and lost both games. But yet the 2 teams at the bottom, you know, we won those 2 games by field goals. So I think that kind of is indicative of our league and how it's been the last couple of years, that, you know, how close it's been, and the fact that you take one team like us and, you know, the top 2 teams we lost by a field goal, the bottom 2 teams we won by a field goal, and everything in between. So I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Personnel-wise, just I guess one of the things, you know, if the health works out this year, one of the unusual features you have is pretty much 4 guys who can start at tailback. Just talk about the strength you have there and how you can use that.
Very, very excited about it, and but I've, you know, mentioned that to our staff. It's the same situation we were in before, and you know, we ended up with 1. So
right.
You never really know, because now that Andre had a great season, I'm constantly asked the question, you know, how do you play 4 guys? Well, I don't, you know, we'll worry about that if it happens.
Right.
But hopefully all 4 of them ready to go, and we're fortunate enough the fact that all 4 of them have actually been productive at times of their career. I mean, not only have they played, they've been pretty good at times. I mean, you know, Wiltz has certainly had his moments, Babin's had his, Murray's had his, and of course Andre had his at the end of the year. So it's a good problem to have if they're all 4 healthy.
Talk about, this is the 2nd straight year where there's going to be, you know, legitimate competition at quarterback. But is this a little bit different than last year in that, you know, Cody has had a full extra year in the system and sort of knows more what he's doing, when he's more fresh last year?
Yeah, I think it's a great point. Cody, the way I see it, he has more experience in this system, and Riley has more competitive experience. So it depends on, you know, which way you weigh the experience side, which has the more value. So, but no, Cody has more experience in what we do. I said, but Riley's started probably, what, 14, 15 games in his career. So from a competitive standpoint, he's more experienced. So I think it'll be great competition, and I'm still really, really looking forward to seeing what Will Briscoe can do. And because he was able to practice all spring, but without contact, and he's a full go. And you know, I'm just anxious to see. I mean, he was the 5A Player of the Year 2 years ago in the state of Louisiana, and I think he's extremely talented, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do as well.
Defensively, obviously, the defensive line is going to look a bit different this year. There's new faces starting, and Desmond moving to the end. And obviously, you got 2 new starting linebackers, although they've played. Just talk about the front is going to be a little different.
I think the key for us is going to be how we play at defensive tackle. I think that's going to be the big key, and hopefully we can have enough depth there to where Desmond can stay it in. And you know, we've had injuries there in the past and haven't been able to do that. But you know, Pat Williams, I know, started a bunch of games last year. Michael Ware played a lot. Justin Breaux. I mean, you look at the guys. Sean Brown. Plus, we signed 3 guys. We have 7 guys there going into August camp. And I think the key for them playing and how they develop is going to be, you know, the better you are in the interior at tackle, the better you're going to be at linebacker. You know, the better they can keep blockers off of them, and you know, but it's hard to replace a Darren Miner, obviously. But we have some guys back that have at least played, you know, played significant snaps too. So,
you know, Riley and Cody can do different things at quarterback. I mean, regardless of who starts, are you thinking of maybe making packages where either of those guys?
Yeah, I know where you're going with that. But no, I think I'm probably different from most people. If I have 2 quarterbacks that are the same, I'm not playing 2.
Right.
If I have two quarterbacks a little different, then I'll consider it. So it's something that you always, that maybe if it comes to, regardless of the situation, who the two are, it's something that you always consider. And if I think, we think from a staff standpoint, it gives us a competitive advantage, absolutely. We will consider it. And if we also think it gives us an advantage in terms of preparing for the next week's team, if they have to prepare against two different things and we think that gives us that kind of competitive advantage, then yes, we'll consider it.
What do you feel is the number one key as you look at this season?
I think that first thing that we have to throw and catch it better, no doubt. I mean, I don't think that we were near as efficient as we needed to be last year. We have some talented players in those positions, but we need to be more efficient there. And in terms of converting third down conversions, converting in the red zone, things like that. In terms of we were close last year in some situations, but we weren't quite where we need to be the type of football team that we want to be. And hopefully with the running backs back, getting most of the linemen back, plus Taylor Johnson, we'll be able to run it again. But I think to be as good as we need to be on offense, we need to be able to throw it and catch it. And like I said, and then from the defensive side, I think we're going to go with our, how our defensive tackles go, looking at that.
Off the field, how much excitement do you have for everything getting finished up with new facilities and
It's very exciting. We've been, we've been in temporary since December 2009. If you look at it in that sense, it's been a long time, and but it's even been longer in terms of the planning and the fundraising and everything in order to do that. So this has been a long process, and I've been the head coach 5 years, and matter of fact, second day that I was interim head coach, I went and gave a talk with Dr. Buttress on it. I've been involved with this for a long time, and I think it's going to be great. Really, really good. People point out the recruiting benefits, and it will help recruiting, but I'm more excited about I think our players will have a better quality of life, the ones that are here,
right.
And stuff. Sure, it'll help recruiting, but I'm more excited about the young men that we have now and moving them in.